y'all, I'm just back for another video today just to kind of share what's been on my mind and to let you all know what's up. I hope that you all have had a really great Christmas, and I hope that you have a good New Year coming up. If you see this after, then I hope that you're having a good year. But I just want to get into a few thoughts today, and one of them is I wonder how many of us have spent Christmas or the holidays alone. I know I'm not the only one because I've seen other people upload videos like this onto YouTube, and it just seems to me like the further along we go in the years, the more that people are alone and isolated. And I'm kind of wondering why that is in our society. Why, when we have all this technology and ways that we could connect with people, a lot of us don't. A lot of people my age especially, and even older, it's kind of hard to connect with other people. And I also feel like there's just, people are selfish, so generally if it's not really about them or their interests, then there's no real way for them to connect with you or for you to connect with them. But that's just what I found. But I know that my family lives all across the United States, and I know that I've heard stories from my dad about his dad and grandpa, and in the 40s and 50s, they had really big parties. They would know people, they would know their neighbors. They would just have like 30 people over for like a holiday, and now I don't even know of anyone that honestly has more than just their immediate family, and sometimes it's even just them and like a partner or something. But I feel like as the years go on, we're just gonna get more and more isolated, and that doesn't make any sense because we have all these platforms of connection, and yet people don't know actually how to connect with each other, which is just really sad. But I guess listening to my parents, they grew up in a different time, a different generation. My parents were my age in the 80s, so they're a little bit older, and their parents were around in when they were younger. I guess that would have been 70s, 60s, and their grandparents would have been 50s, 40s. But and just hearing like their experiences in Christmas and the kind of expectations that people had for each other. I had actually asked my parents yesterday, like, where were you on Christmas at 28? And my mom said that she was married, and having Christmas dinner with my dad's side of the family, and then she would go and do hers. My dad said at 28, he wasn't married yet. He had a small apartment in Chicago, and he had invited his family into his apartment and had given them a Thanksgiving dinner and stuff. And it sounds somewhat similar to, I feel like, what people might do today. But then again, I can't really imagine anyone who's 28 and can provide a whole Thanksgiving dinner, because the cost of food is just so expensive. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just one idea. And then I know that, sorry, I'm tired, but I know that my dad's grandparents in the 40s and 50s, they would dress up in suits and ties and dresses with matching gloves and hats. And I asked him, and I was like, even for just when they were going to immediate family homes, and he was like, yeah, they would never leave the house looking like the way that we do now. Like, everything that they have would have matched. And they would have had everything really fancy and nice. not saying that people don't have that now, just it feels like the culture has changed so much, and I honestly kind of wonder how it could have changed so drastically within, I don't know, 60, 70 years time, to where human population and relationships are just so isolated and alone, because it feels like before we've always had that kind of special quality to the holidays of what it means to be a family and come together, what this holiday means specifically, and now it feels like it's just another day. You know, I feel like a lot of people I know had complained that nothing was open on Christmas Day. And I think that just goes to show like how things have changed and become so different, that it's not an important day to focus on family, but it's a day where people are complaining that they don't have access to their material needs or wants. And I just kind of wonder in what ways had that changed from my great grandma, you know, dressing up in her pearls and matching purses, dresses and hats, to now we're just wearing our pajamas everywhere. Not that that's a bad thing, because I love to do it myself, but it's kind of, I guess, why does it feel like the downfall of humanity is rapidly increasing rather quickly and faster than I feel like it's ever been before? You know, instead of taking care of each other and being there for each other, it's just kind of what we can get out of each other now. And I kind of miss the way that the old Christmases used to be, or used to feel like, and now, and I don't know if this is just from me becoming an adult or what, but it just feels different. You know, people aren't nicer in this time of year anymore. People don't go out of their way to do kind things for people anymore. People don't tip extra anymore for the holidays. It just feels like things have just gotten, I'm not going to say worse, because I feel like things always get better. I'm not a pessimistic person, but it really does feel like the things that we used to focus on as a society or a couple has changed so much. And I don't really know if people know how to find meaning in their life anymore, or meaning in the everyday, today living. And I feel like if we had more of a sense of, you know, what our lives mean, not only to ourselves but to other people, it would help us. It would guide us and lead us back to maybe helping each other, maybe to hearing each other, or listening rather than hearing, I guess. But yeah, that's just my experience. But that's just my experience on Christmas and my thoughts on it, and how things have changed, and hearing my parents who came from a different time and place and generation speak on it, and how, you know, my parents, they also had a house when they were my age, and I don't, which is fine, but, you know, you can kind of tell that the evolution of our society has kind of gone downhill, and I don't know if it's going to get any better. Actually, I kind of wonder if it's going to get worse, because I can't really imagine any prices going down for anything. So I guess it's just kind of, we have to wait and fake it till we make it kind of situation, and hope that there are better days coming. And, you know, maybe in some day that we will wake up and realize that the things that we've been missing are things that we can make again. So if we had our own families, you know, we could start our old traditions again. We can instill the values of the holidays into people or younger generations again. But it really feels like that is only a select group of people, and the rest of Earth or humanity is kind of empty. Empty of meaning, empty of feeling, empty of values. But I'm not here to judge people. I'm just here to tell you what I see and of my own experience. And I just think it's really interesting. You know, you can watch the news and you will get immediately depressed and appalled at human nature and behavior. And you just kind of wonder, where do all the good people go? And I feel like a lot of us are just hiding in our rooms and in our houses at this point, because it's become a little bit too frightening in a way. Because if you're a good person, it's almost like you're gonna get targeted for it. So it's honestly just better to, you know, make the videos, hope that people find it, hope that maybe you make a connection through that. But, you know, when it comes to expecting other people to help you, be there for you, I think that that I can't say it, that sentimental aspect has changed, and people won't go out of their way anymore unless they truly know you. And that's definitely not how my parents' generation was raised, and definitely not how, I know that's definitely not how my parents' generation was raised. And you can definitely tell. And I feel like Christmases are just going to get more and more less meaningful to people, because it doesn't mean the same thing that it used to. So I just wonder what you all think. If you could let me know down in the comments and tell me maybe your stories or your experiences of Christmases past and how this recent Christmas felt to you. So just let me know. And that was basically all I wanted to say. And if you were alone for Christmas, know that you were not the only one. And I can't say that it'll get better, because I think that we're only going to get more alone and more isolated. But I can tell you that I think people will be happier in the long run by keeping to themselves and by keeping their peace. You know, in some ways it could be a good thing, because then you don't have to meet with family you don't necessarily agree with. But at the same time, you know, we shouldn't feel so alone. It's the worst time of the year for depression and mental health, and I think we kind of have to reassess our values. You know, why are we spending money on gifts and not spending money on helping the people in our family who really need it? Like, you know, instead of spending hundreds of dollars on presents, you can spend hundreds of dollars on the person that you love to go to therapy or get medicine. And it's just, the things we value aren't really in order anymore. And I feel like we've lost that. I don't know if we ever had it, but honestly, things just need to change in our society. We need to become more aware of our day-to-day lives and not just follow the trends, but actually think about what we're doing and how that affects other people. Because to me, I would rather not get gifts, and I would rather have money that I could have for food or, you know, medicine that I need, bills that I have, you know. And I was thinking of people who don't even have food for Christmas, and they would have to find a shelter, or churches, and I'm not even sure if they even had that in my area. If they did, it was only like one or two. So it's like, why aren't we helping people more? And the people who have the resources are definitely not concerned or care about anyone else lower than them. So it's like the right people who need it to have the money, the philanthropists, those aren't the people who have that anymore. And we kind of lost that too. So this is just my feelings really quickly about Christmas and the holiday season. And, you know, if you were alone, let me know down in the comments. And let me know how you are. So I hope that you take care and that this message resonated for you. And I love you guys. Bye.